Okay. So now our meet is being recorded, and now I'll start with the lecture. Okay. So today we have like our 10th session, and the topic that we will be discussing today is fun with magnets. Have you heard the term magnets? Anyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So you might have heard of magnets. Magnets are basically, metallic substances that have ability to attract. It has a north pole and south pole, right? Like you might have seen magnets of such shapes. It may be a horseshoe magnet sometimes. It may be a circular magnet. The magnets can be any shape, but the main property that we must know, that magnets attract metals.
Kandam.
Attract metals. Right. Now, these metals, not necessarily metal is to be iron always. It can be anything other than iron, like nickel. It can be cobalt, I guess. These are two other examples, except iron for, the magnets. Like magnetics, like magnet will attract these substances. Okay, so the name of unit is fun with magnets. So let's do some fun with magnets, right? So I'll show you a small, activity also during the session. Like it won't be like an activity, but yeah, it would be an illustration that will help us to know magnets more. And of course, we will be going through some PDFs that I have just with me for like, or I can say it as a PPT because it's not a PDF. Sorry, it's a PPT, and we'll go through the PPT. We have a quiz to be filled. Also, like when we'll be by the end of our today's lecture, there will be a feedback form. Like feedback form will be used as a source of attendance. Like we have to record attendance of the students attending the class, so you are requested to fill the feedback form, which I will share through the chat box. All right, so let us get started with the lecture, fun with magnets. Now, fun with magnets have okay, so we'll talk about the discovery. How were magnets discovered? So it's a very good story. Like we should know it. Like there was a shepherd named Magnesia. Okay, not magnesia. Sorry, manganese. Manganese. I may be wrong with spelling. Manganese. He was a shepherd who used to take his sheep towards the mountains. So one day, while he was on his, while he was at his work, he had a stick, a wooden stick with a metallic end, with an iron end. So what happened, surprisingly, this stick got stuck into a rock, or I can say it just like went into the rock, and it was very hard for manganese to just pull away that rod towards himself. He was trying to pull it, but there was some force which was attracting this stick towards itself, and this was the source of discovery of magnets. Like when he came back to his home, he told many people about like his rod got stuck into the rock, and he had to apply some extra effort to get his rod back, his stick back. So thereon researchers started, people started to visit this place, and from here the discovery of magnets began. All right, so this magnet was discovered in a rock called magnetite, right? And this magnetite is a natural source of magnet. This is now processed to form magnet. This is the natural source of magnet, right? Okay, so this is about the story. Now, in the next slide, we have the story. Okay, I was a bit wrong there. It was Magnus kind of spelling. Okay, so okay, that's all right. It's not necessary. It won't be asked in our exams. After all, we are preparing for exams, and basically a quick revision while we move to class 7. We should have our concepts brushed up. Okay, so it is said there was a shepherd named Megas who lived in ancient Greece. He used to take his herd of sheep and goats to the nearby mountains for grazing. As I said, he was a shepherd, right? So he used to take his cattle round the mountain so that they can just like they can just eat food there, etc. And okay, that is known as grazing. He would take a stick with him. As I said, he had a stick which had a metallic iron piece, small iron piece attached at one end. So one day he was surprised that he had to pull it hard to free his stick. Right, means there was some new force, some force in that rocks that was pulling that rod towards itself, and that force was the magnetic force. That force was the magnetic force which was pulling the force that was pulling the rods towards itself. It seemed as it like the stick was being attracted by the rock, and that rock was the natural magnet, magnetite. All right, yeah, so let's move ahead. Yeah. Now, as I said, like the early discovery of magnets, the early discovery of magnets was through the magnetite rock. And that was, my dear child, a natural source of magnets. So I can say that the magnets that I get from the natural resources, like it was magnetite, like it was a rock, right? So if I get magnet from that rock, it is natural, it is not made by man, so it is a natural magnet. Okay, so it was termed as magnetite, contains iron. Some people believe that magnetite was first discovered at a place called magnesia. Yeah, so like in the beginning there was a quite confusion with the terms. So the name of place was magnesia, name of the person was Magnus, and the term, that rock that was discovered was magnetite. Well, that's part of a history, and science does not ask the history. If you go to higher level exams, like when you will go to your higher classes, if you go on with any stream, there are exams, and there it's not relevant, right? So we don't want it. But yeah, for a general knowledge we can read it, so we are doing it here, right? So the substances having the property of iron, attracting iron, are known as magnets, but not necessarily irons, right? Iron. Okay, right. Now, natural magnets we have discussed. Now we are moving towards the man-made irons. Man-made. So very obviously the magnets that are made by man are termed as man-made magnets. So the magnets that you might have seen at your home, at like in any science kits or any project activities, etc., you might have seen them. Those all are man-made magnets. All right, this magnetite is usually a raw material, and we finish this, we carry out various processes for the finishing. There are processes for finishing and getting a finished and a very fine product, and that is a man-made product. So that is the process of conversion. Now, the process of making magnets from piece of iron was discovered. These are known as artificial magnets, also the man-made magnets, as we are studying, right? Magnets are prepared in different shapes. Like you can see in this image, we have a cylindrical magnet, we have a horseshoe magnet, we have a ball ended magnet, right? It's a ball ended magnet, right? It has two ball kind of structures at its end, right? So it's a ball ended magnet. Can you hear me? Is my like I sometimes it happens we lose the network. Okay, so great, you can hear me. You can always reply via the chat box, and if you have any doubts, anything you have, you can definitely ask me in this in any of the like you can just like raise your hand and ask it through the mic, or you can just write it in the chat. It's all your wish, right? So let's move ahead. So that was very simple and easy thing. It's not at all like any efforts are not needed. We have just now studied the magnet like magnetite. Then we went for what? We went for man-made and art natural magnets. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move ahead. Now, magnetic and non-magnetic materials. What are magnetic materials? Materials which get attracted towards the magnet are known as magnetic, and the materials which do not get attracted towards the magnet are known as non-magnetic. As I said, example of magnetic material is iron, nickel, or cobalt, right? And non-magnetic can be anything, be it plastic. It's not attracted by iron, right? Human, we are not attracted by iron majorly. So we are non-magnetic, right? So if we just talk iron, it's non-magnetic. Attracted by Megan's stick. Okay, then scale. Scale is plastic. No, non-magnetic. Okay, wait. We have done a mistake in flow. Like iron will be attracted. Sorry for that. Iron is magnetic. I just wrote it wrongly. Magnetic. Scale is non-magnetic. Shoe is obviously non-magnetic. Fine. That's about it. So it is a very simple classification. Substances that are attracted by magnet. By magnet are magnetic, and which are not attracted are the non-magnetic substances. Fine, so that's pretty much the thing. Now let's just move ahead. Okay, so let's move ahead. We have, okay, so we have done this, right? Just a moment, there is some error. Yeah, so now I'll change the slide. Yeah, now poles of a magnet, like in the beginning we were discussing, right? Like magnetic poles. So a magnet has a north pole and has a south pole, right? North pole and south pole. We know it very well, like you might have even tried it at your homes, that north pole repels north pole and south pole repels south pole, whereas north pole attracts. Let's make it as A and R, and south pole attracts north pole, right? These two attracts each other and these two repel. This is a very important property. Like poles repel, whereas unlike poles attract each other. Right, this is very common phenomena. You can even check at your homes. Like if you bring two magnets closer, sometimes they may just stick to each other, sometimes they may repel each other. This repulsion means that the poles, like poles, are being brought together, and if the attraction takes place, this implies that unlike poles are being brought together. So this means north pole will attract the south pole and south pole will attract the north pole, but north and north, south and south will repel each other. Okay, so that is very common phenomena, children. You must know it. And sometimes you may be asked in exams or any other competitive exam as an objective type question, right? They can give you, there is a north pole placed and at my in front of me, and if I just keep another north pole, something kind of that, in front of that magnet, so they both will repel each other, right? So that's the thing. Now, you might have heard, of a term compass. Magnetic compass. It is used for giving it is used to give us a direction. It is used to give us a a direction. It gives us a direction. Magnetic compass. Now how does it gives us a direction? Now listen to me very carefully, children, very carefully. Earth is itself a magnet, right? It, you might have seen, like earth has a north pole and a south pole, geometric north and geometric south pole. Clear? So now always remember, at north pole, geometric north pole, there is the magnetic south pole, and at magnetic south and geographic south pole, there is the magnetic north pole. Magnetic north pole, right? So now listen to me carefully. If I hold a compass here, or like assume I hold a compass here, so if, okay, now, okay, one more thing. If there is a magnetic compass, here in between is a magnetic needle with north as the pointed end and south as the tail end. Okay, so if this is north end, this is south end, so my magnet will be aligned in such a way. Why so? Because this north pole will be attracted by the south pole of the earth, whereas this south pole of the uh, needle will be attracted by the north pole of earth. If I am here, if I am here, again my pointer will be in this direction. Okay, if I am here, then my pointer will be in this direction. Why? Because, as I said, Earth is itself a big, huge magnet. It has a south pole towards the geographic north and a north pole of magnet towards the geographic south. So, if I am standing here, with my compass in my hand, so the needle of the compass will be facing towards the south pole of the magnet of Earth. Like, right, the magnetic south, which is geographic north. Okay, not geographic north as such, but yeah, the pointed end will be towards inside, right? It would be downwards. Whereas if I just move to this end, and if my pointer is initially like this, it will be repelled by this north pole, because this is itself a north pole, this is a north pole, they will repel each other, and my magnetic needle will twist, will just rotate like this 180 degrees. So my compass will give me a direction in this way. All right, are you getting my point? So this is a phenomena that we observe. Like, this helps us in finding out directions wherever we are standing. Whenever, like, it's used for navigation. If you are traveling from one place to other, it will help you to navigate, to know the location at various spots on Earth. All right, that's a very helpful phenomena that was used by sailors of ships for finding out a right direction. Okay, so now make your own magnet. Now, how can we make a magnet at home, right? How can we make a magnet at home? That's very challenging, right? That's very interesting. How we'll do it? Like, if I just take a magnetic, just an iron bar with me, just an iron bar with me, and I hold a magnet in my hand and start rubbing this iron bar like this. Now, if I just rub it, I just keep it here, I rub it along like this. Okay, something like this. I just rub it and don't take it back, just lift it up and again bring it to this end, from here till here, and then rub again. Then pick it up, bring it again here, then rub, bring it back. Take it here like this. Now, okay, this will magnetize the iron bar. This will magnetize the iron bar. Getting my point? Now I will show you a clip, an activity that will, not an activity, it's virtual lab that will help us to, understand this phenomena in much more detail now. Okay, just a moment. I'll share it. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen. Yeah. Okay, so this is a website called Java Labs, and you can like get these, the simulations at your end too. Now, what I'll do, just a moment. Yeah, now, like you can see, this person, it is now. Okay, now very important. This person is using this North Pole and rubbing it on the iron piece. And now, these small inside are known as small blocks. These blocks will be aligned in a straight direction, leading to the formation of the magnetic. Like, it will help us to magnetize this iron bar. It will induce the magnetic properties in this iron bar, right? Very slowly do we rub this this magnet on the iron bar, and it will magnetize this iron piece, and hence a magnet will be formed. All right, now very important thing. Listen to me carefully. Now, if I have a magnet and I want to demagnetize it, what is demagnetization? Removal of the magnetic properties. Demagnetization is the process of removal of the magnetic properties. So how will I do it? I will take a piece of, like, I will not do anything. I'll carry out certain processes that will help me to demagnetize this, and one of that process is heating. So if I heat an iron bar which is magnetic, it will turn to be demagnet. It will not be a magnet anymore. This process is demagnetization. This process is known as demagnetization. All right. Yeah, you can reply in the chat. Okay, I can see you in the chat. Okay, so yeah, that's great. It's a very simple thing. It's not at all tough. There is nothing tough here. Like if we just heat it, it will be demagnetized. Okay, so I'll just move back to the PPT and we will discuss that. Okay, so we were just discussing about this, right? I just said you can just rub the magnet over this iron piece and this will be magnetized, and this process is known as magnetic induction. Inducing magnetic properties in a substance using another magnet. Right? Just know the term. It's not necessary to be learned. It's very simple. It's an iron bar. Right? Now, let's move ahead. Now, a few cautions. As I just said, children, like whenever we have a magnet, so we should keep it carefully, otherwise it will lose its magnetic properties. If it loses its magnetic properties, then it's no longer a magnet. It's of no use to us, right? So we should take care of the magnets. Magnets lose their properties if they are heated. So like right now we just saw in a illustration, like when that magnetic substance was heated, it was no longer a magnet, right? Or it is hammered. Okay, so there is someone here in the meet. Is my screen visible to you?
Sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is the screen visible to you, child?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's your name? Actually, it gets very tough to call the word as child.
My name is Diksha Negi.
Okay, great, Diksha Negi. Okay, Miss Diksha, we'll start the unit again. Okay, so we are discussing today unit 10. Okay, I'm not sure of the unit number, but it is session 10 for today. And previously we were studying about the light and reflection unit. Today we have a new unit with us, fun with magnets. So you might have studied this in your class 6 because I remember you are a student that is moving to class 7, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we are revising unit fun with magnets, right? So you might have heard of a term magnet. Magnet is any metallic substance, any metallic substance that has ability to attract. Ability to attract any other iron substance. Now it can attract any iron substance. It can be a substance, anything metallic like iron. The substance is made from cobalt. It can be nickel as well. Okay, so like you might have seen magnet, right? Have you ever seen a magnet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have seen it. It has two poles, right? It has two poles, namely North Pole and the South Pole. It can be in any direction, right? I can just make it this way. Both are same. It's a magnet. It has two poles. This is nothing. Okay, so that's pretty much the intro. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so next topic that we have to discuss is Diksha, that how were the magnets discovered? Oh, okay, so there is a very fun story behind it. There was a shepherd whose name was Megans. He took his sheep and cows and basically the cattle to a mountain where the cattle were grazing. He had a this shepherd Megan's had a wooden stick with him that had a metallic end at its one of its corners. So like what he observed there, that he had to apply some extra efforts. He had to pull that rod to get it off the rock. He had to apply some extra effort, and this extra effort was nothing but magnetic force. This was nothing but magnetic
Like,
force. All right. But okay, before we move to magnetic force, like, this was the point, this was the place where the discovery, where the researches for magnets began. This rock was magnetite rock. And this place was, it is termed as a place called, I'm not sure. Okay, let us see in the next slide. I have it. The place name was, where it is written. Who lived in ancient Greece? Okay, the place name. Not here. It is here. I just read it. Mm, okay, I'll just check it. Ancient Greece named mountains grazing. Well, that's not necessary actually, but yeah, still we should know it for a general knowledge purpose. Okay. Okay, so we'll check it and we'll discuss it. I hope when we'll read it in the next time, in the coming slide, so we'll get it, because I remember I have kept it in the PPT. Okay, so what we are discussing from here, the researches for the discovery of like magnets, the properties of magnets, various experiments, and you will study, magnets from current, electromagnets in your further classes. Those everything, like everything began with this small observation this person Megan's had. It's very like it was a very weird observation that your stick just gets stuck in a rock and you have to apply some extra effort to pull a magnet, right? Like for example, you might have seen it. If I take an iron piece towards my magnet, right? So if it is attracted towards the magnet, I have to apply some force to get back my iron piece, right? Have you observed this?
yes, sir.
Yeah, we have to apply some extra effort. So this effort is nothing but magnetic force. Okay, what is this happening? Yeah. Okay, so we'll read it fully because I am sure I have written it. It is said that there was a shepherd named Megan's who lived in ancient Greece. Okay, that place that is ancient Greece. He used to take his herd of sheep and goats to the nearby mountains for grazing. As I just said, he used to take a stick with him to control his herd. The stick had a small piece of iron attached at one end, and like one day he was surprised because he had to pull the rod to get off the rock. And like it seemed if it was stick was being attracted by the rock, and this was the natural magnet. Yeah. Okay, so like this rock is a natural source of magnet. Natural source. It is occurring naturally. Human is not preparing it, so it is a natural source prepared by God. So like basically these all are the rocks formed from the magma lava that has just erupted out of the volcanoes. Okay, but that's not again the scope of syllabus. But yeah, we should have some knowledge extra apart from the syllabus, right? Okay,
Yes,
so okay, here comes the name of place. As I was saying, I had it in my mind. The name of the place was Magnesia. Yeah, so name of the person was Megan's, the name of rock was magnetite, and the place was Magnesia. Okay, so as I just said, natural source of magnet is, or a natural magnet is your what is magnetite, and it is usually found in form of rocks. It was discovered at a place called Magnesia. The substances having the properties of attracting iron are known as magnets. So substances that attract iron, well, this definition has now changed because they attract iron, nickel, cobalt as well. Okay, so these are now known as magnets. These are natural magnets. Of course, artificial magnets or man-made magnets are also called magnets. So that's not just like natural magnets will be called as magnets. So we are discussing right now like artificial magnets. So what are artificial magnets? Magnets that are prepared by humans that are not prepared naturally are artificial magnets. So the process of making magnets from pieces of iron was discovered later on. Like how can we convert a non-magnetic substance into magnetic substance? Like if I take an iron piece, now I want to make this iron piece a magnet. So if I get successful in making this iron piece a magnet, so it will be an artificial magnet, right? So it will be an artificial magnet. So you might have seen these images in various places, also in your NCERT textbook. Like I have taken it from NCERT. So credits to NCERT. Definitely, you cannot deny it. Like now, artificial magnets can be taken, can be found in various shapes. Like it's a horseshoe magnet. Horseshoe magnet. There are various other shapes, like this is a bar magnet, it's a cylindrical shaped magnet, and this is a ball ended magnet. So what are magnets with ball? What are ball ended magnets? Magnets that have balls at their ends are known as ball ended magnets. Magnets that have ball shaped that are ball shaped at end are known as the ball ended magnets. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Is it easy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is easy. Okay. Now, magnetic and non-magnetic materials. Okay, the materials which get attracted towards a magnet are called magnet. For example, I was just saying iron. Iron will be attracted by the magnet. So iron is the magnetic material. If I talk about plastic, like if I talk about my phone, this will not be attracted by magnet. Or okay, not even phone. If I talk about the book, about a book. So this book is not going to be attracted by the magnet. So this book will be non-magnetic, right? So yeah, very good. So we can like segregate things into two categories, magnetic and non-magnetic. Examples of magnetic is iron, nickel, or cobalt. Now non-magnetic examples we have all around. Like I am wearing this specs. This is made from plastic, so it is non-magnetic. It will not be attracted by magnet. Now let's fill this table. This table has been again taken from NCERT. So credits to NCERT. You know why do we take things from NCERT? Because NCERT is a standard textbook based on which other competitive exams are structured. Not even competitive. If you are in school questions will be after all from this because that's the school service. So it's a win-win situation for all. Okay. Now, iron. Iron is a magnetic substance.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Plastic. What about plastic?
No, sir.
It's a non-magnetic substance. Now, leather.
So what is leather?
It's non-magnetic. Leather is used to make handbags and bags or purses or wallets or belts. Are belts attracted by magnet? Obviously, no. Okay. Now, humans. What about humans? Are humans magnetic?
No, sir.
No, very good. I appreciate. Yes, humans are not magnetic. So that's a very simple thing. Okay, if I talk about paper, paper is again non-magnetic. If I talk about screw, now if screw is made from iron, then it is magnetic. Okay, if we are making from any other substance, for example, aluminium. So aluminium is non-magnetic. So aluminium screw will be non-magnetic,
Not magnetic.
right? Yeah, very good. So now poles of the magnet. As you know, a magnet has north pole and south pole, as I was just discussing. So, like as we just discussed in the first slide. Also, do you know if I break a magnet, if I just break this magnet, so will there be only north pole here and not only south pole here?
No, sir.
Very good. You are right. Again, a north pole will be formed here, and again, a south pole will be formed here because magnetic poles cannot exist independently. If there is a north pole, there will be a south pole 100%ly. Okay, like as you can see in this magnet, like there is a north pole, there is a south pole. You know what happens? Like, there are magnetic field lines, as you can see in this diagram, which comes out from north pole and enter into south pole. Okay, so if there is no south pole, for example, so magnetic lines will come out from north pole, but where they will go, they will have no place to go. So they're like, this is not possible at all. So this is the reason we say, magnetic poles cannot exist independently. All
Okay,
right.
sir.
So we just talked about if we break a magnet. Now, also like poles and unlike poles theory. Have you heard it? Like,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So can you just tell me, like poles repel each other? Do they? If I say north pole, here is the south pole. Another magnet with north pole here, south pole. So they will push each other. They will fall. They will go apart, right? North pole and north pole will go apart because they will repel each other.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And if it's a north pole and south pole, they will attract each other. They will attract each other. This is attraction. And this is repulsion. It is very important, when you go for any exam, like not just school exam, any objective type olympiad or anything, they can ask you if a car, it's also given in NCERT, if a toy car, assume this to be a toy car. Okay, my drawing is not good. As even like in the previous class I said, my drawing is not so good. So if I just keep a magnet like this, north pole here, south pole here, and one more magnet here, south pole here, not okay, it's not here, north pole here, south pole here, so they will attract each other, right? So these
Yes.
cars will move towards each other, they will come closer. Now in a like a contradictory case, if I place north pole here, south pole here, and north pole here, south pole here, so they will repel each other, so the cars will go away. You can read this activity in NCERT, it's very well explained. Okay, it's very simple, I have just explained it, but yeah, you can just read it out. When we read things, we understand them in a more better way. Okay, so you're, of course, you can go for reading it, and if you have any doubts, we can definitely discuss it. Well, it's very simple, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
North and north pole will repel each other, or south pole will repel each other. Whereas if I take a north and a south pole, they will attract. If I take a south and a north, they will attract. If I take a south and south, they will repel because they're same. You have studied like fractions and unlike fractions, right? So this is similar to that. Now, finding directions. Do you know there is a device called magnetic compass, which is used by sailors. This is used by sailors who go on ships to get a direction, like what is the direction they are moving in. This compass gives them the direction. Why does the compass give them a direction? Because magnetic compass needle is itself a magnet, is itself a magnet, is itself a magnet. Okay, again, as I always say, my writing is drawing is not good. So this is a north pole, assume it to be, and this be a south pole. Okay, it's a magnetic needle, so it's obviously not. Now also you must know that earth is itself a huge magnet. Okay, earth is a magnet. Now also you know that earth has in geographic north pole and south pole. In south pole we have Antarctica, right? Okay, so
Okay.
now at this south pole, the geographic south pole in Antarctica, there is magnetic north of earth, magnetic north of earth. Whereas at geographic north of earth, there is magnetic south, magnetic south. Now listen to me very carefully. Okay, now if I take my compass and place it here, okay, it has north pole here, it has south pole here. So this south pole will be attracted by this north pole, this north pole will be attracted by this north pole, south pole will be attracted by the north pole. Okay, so my needle will remain in this direction only. Whereas if I move to this direction, if I move to this direction and I place initially my pin as like this, and this again be my north pole, and this be my south pole. This will be attracted here, this will be attracted here. So my pins will remain similar in similar fashion. If the third case, if I place my compass here and place it like this be again my north pole. Now, surprisingly, this north pole will repel this one, this will repel this one. So this will move because the south pole will be attracted here. So my magnetic compass needle will point like this. So my north pole will be now in downward direction and south pole will be above. So at various locations on Earth, my magnetic needle will change its direction depending upon the direction of the Earth's magnetic field. And this is the process how we can find out the directions. Well, again, as I say, you are still in class 6 or now moving to 7. These are just the concepts that you must know before you enter into the next class. Well, you will study them in more detail when you move to higher class, right? But you must know a clear concept, a picture in your mind. Okay, now what do I know? If I suspend a magnet in freely like this, so it will rest in a north south direction. Why? Because my south pole will attract the north pole, and this north pole will again direct in the geographic north, and this south will direct in the geographic south. So it will rest in north south direction. It's very common question that is being asked in questions, that if we just suspend a magnet freely, how will it rest? It will rest in north south direction. Okay, it will rest in north south direction. You must know this. It is very important. If we just freely suspend a magnet, it will suspend in north south direction. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Is it easy? Okay, now I
Yes.
will show. Okay, before I show, I'll move to the next slide. Right now, make your own magnet. How can we make our own magnet? Right, like as I was saying that iron can be converted into a magnetic substance, right? So how can we convert an iron piece to a magnet? So it's a very, it's a very important phenomenon. It's a very important process, because all artificial magnets will somehow be prepared by this process only, because we are converting iron to a magnet, right? Are we? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I will show you an illustration that will explain it in a much better way. Just a moment, I'll change my screen. Okay. Yeah. Like how do we do so? We take a magnet. Okay, I'll share the screen first. Like we take a magnet along with us, like this. Okay. Now I will take a magnet with me and I'll start rubbing it on the iron piece. Now when I rub it, this iron piece will be magnetized. See how these small blocks are like aligning into a single direction, in a same direction, right? This all red blocks are aligned in left and all blue blocks are aligned in right. So when all will be aligned in the same direction, this iron block will be magnetized, right? I'll show again in the diagram that I was showing in the PPT, then it will be more clear. Where is the Google Meet? Okay, here it is. Yeah. So just see here. Entire window. Yeah. So I was just saying that just take the magnet in your hand and start rubbing it on the iron piece. Now, when you rub it, just rub it in one direction. Now, after you reach at the point you reach this end, now lift your magnet, take it from the upward direction, and now come back to the place where you started, and now start rubbing it again. Okay, now if you rub it again in this similar fashion, after several rubbings, you will observe that this piece of iron has turned into a magnet, as you could just see in that illustration. Right, once again I will show the illustration for more clarity. Okay, did you understand this topic? Like, did you get what I was explaining from that illustration?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, isn't it easy? It's very easy. Like I will just okay, wait a moment. Yeah, now I'll just rub the piece of magnet over the iron bar and this will get magnetized. This process is known as induction. Well, no need to know the name of the process. You will study it in class 9 or 10. Well, that's not needed. So what we are doing, we are just rubbing this piece of iron, this magnet over the piece of iron, over the piece of iron, and only in one direction, not in two directions, in one direction only. When I rub it, I take it back to the front, again rub it, again take it to front, again rub it, again take it to front. So this will magnetize my substance. Also, you can try it at your home. It will definitely be turned into a magnet. Okay, so something has happened. Yeah, so now I'll move to the I'll move to okay, I'll move to the screen once again. Okay, yeah, can you see it? Can you see it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is easy. Okay, now very few cautions that you must take while you are handling magnets. First one is, like if we have a magnet, those magnets can be demagnetized easily. Like if I have a magnet, it will no longer be a magnet if I do not take care. Right? If we do not take care of things, they will get destroyed. Right? Similarly, magnets will get demagnetized if not handled properly. If not handled properly, they will get demagnetized. Magnets lose their property if they are heated, hammered, or dropped. If I heat a magnet, if or like I just throw the magnet like this, it will be demagnetized. Or if I just just take a hammer and start hammering it, it will be demagnetized. Right? So we should handle them with care. Magnets become weak if they are not stored properly, hence they will be demagnetized. Magnets should be kept in pairs, Like how they will be kept in pairs? How will we keep in pairs? Like if I have a magnet north south like this, and if I have a magnet another north south like this, so I will keep both the magnets together like this with a small wooden block here and second magnet here, and just see carefully, north pole here, south pole here, south pole here, north pole here. Opposite poles should be kept together to have a magnet, to retain magnets for a longer time. If not kept like this, they may lose their magnetic properties. So with their unlike poles on the same side, so we should keep both the magnets together. For horseshoe magnet, one should keep a piece of iron across the pole. So what we'll do, we'll take horseshoe magnet and keep a piece of iron across its pole so that it does not get demagnetized. Fine. Keep
Okay, sir.
magnets away from cassettes, mobiles, television, music systems, CDs, and the computer. Okay, so we should keep magnets away from these devices. Like I'll just give you an example. I had a magnet at my home, and I just kept it near to the television. So what happened? That screen got blurred. The picture that was like being shown on the screen, that had various different colors, the colors were lost, sometimes multiple colors came. So like I was unable to detect what is this happening. Later on, a mechanic came to my home, and then he said, okay, this problem was coming because of the magnet that was kept near the TV. Okay, so we should avoid keeping magnet because this will affect those devices and they may stop, they may malfunction. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's very simple. Now, like as I said, you can keep magnets like this in pairs. They can have a small wooden block in between, and you should keep a horseshoe magnet with an iron piece on over its ends. And like these products like TVs, radios, CDs, or mobiles should be kept away from the magnet. Right now, like we have reached to the end of the lecture.